Hello there, you bunch of wonderful internet sausages, and welcome to just over 2 million Tyranids, which today are going to be swarming this Tau hillside defense. Will extreme firepower and corrupt madness be enough to hold back the waves of hordes, warriors, and hive tyrants? Or will these simply all be converted into more biomass? Just very quickly though, before we do kick off today's fight, firstly I just want to say thank you very much for clicking on the video in the first place, and if you do find yourself coming here often, why not subscribe? Really helps out the channel. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. But with all that capitalism out of the way, let's get on with today's fight. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen, and I am very, very excited for this fight. It's been a very long time since we've had the Tyranids on the channel, and today they're going against the ultimate test of the tower already. Look at them. The gigantic pulse cannon beams there, just stretching out from the tower lines, erupting amongst the Tyranid horde here as they try to swoop down into the valley center and slowly claw their way up the other side. We've got a massive amount of Hormagons here, roughly about 1 million, just over 1 million of them, maybe. I think it's 1.5 million actually in total. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of Hormagons here, and already that Tau firepower just raking across the front lines, causing hundreds and hundreds of casualties here for the Tyranids instantly. We're already coming to the heights of 45,000 losses here, and we're barely in the first opening phase. But the Tyranids obviously have numbers on their side, and they don't care about these losses, for all will be consumed and turned into biomass eventually. Just look at that. A magnificent sight of Hormagons, Brood Warriors. We've even got a couple of Hive Tyrants thrown into the mix, and I think we've even got some Hive Guards here. Yeah, look, Hive Guard are in the mix as well. So the Tyranids can actually return fire here, but we're getting a bit of a corrupt countercharge coming out of the Tau lines here, hoping to hold the Tyranids in place. And this is a noble sacrifice here by the corrupt, because yeah, this is really going to be difficult to hold back. Can you imagine going into a melee combat here with the Tyranid? I mean, even just the basic Hormagons, you're not going to stand much of a chance, but luckily the corrupt are absolute adepts when it comes to melee combat. Obviously, they're not going to be eating any brains here, I don't think. At least I hope not. I wouldn't want to eat the brains of any Tyranid that I've killed, that's for certain. God knows what kind of parasites will be in that. You might just turn into a Tyranid by doing that. Who knows? I don't think that's ever happened. Can you turn into a Tyranid by eating his brain? Got a Hive Tyrant there going down. The concentrated firepower coming out to the Tau lines. Really having a good old fire effect there. The hammerhead tanks are going to be causing absolute devastation amongst the bigger units here for the Tyranids. The revolution stacks are encountered here as they try to push forward. Bigger monstrosities may be needed if the Tyranids don't manage to get through this. But look at this magnificent flanking maneuver. Thousands of Hormagons coming. Well, I say thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Hundreds of thousands of Hormagons here trying to push into the flank of the town. Now, the town have got a real nice defensive position here, just located right next to the cliff face. You can see, of course, though, the Tyranids not really bothered by impossible terrain. Easily able to scale these little mountains and at warp speed almost. But the tower holding them back vigorously as the body piles already ensuing here on our battlefield. It's a glorious sight though, seeing the Tyranids go to war like this. Absolutely love it. I've really missed these guys. Now, for those of you who are like long-term followers of the channel, you might have known that I've always had a bit of a problem with the Tyranids. Their AI keeps breaking on me a lot of the time when filming videos, so let's hope that doesn't happen today. But I have noticed we've been using him in our live streams recently, and I've done a couple of test records of this battle to see, you know, if the AI would break, and so far it hasn't. So I'm hoping whatever that bug was might have actually been fixed with them. So we might be seeing more Tyranids appear on the channel here, which I, for one, am more than happy about. I absolutely love the Tyranids. Some of my favorite swarms in horde armies in the Warhammer universe are orcs and Tyranids. There's just something so satisfying and terrifying about watching these gigantic hordes just swarm in. And I think it's just the sheer level of brutality that you know is going to happen should they manage to close that gap to the front line. You can see at the moment that the Tyranids really struggling to assault up this hill as we've got a steady flow of corrupt warriors coming out to meet them on that front line. And they're really buying the tower a lot of time at the moment. Another Hive Tyrant goes down here. A cheer has let up from the tower lines, and the successful killing. And look at all the goo. Most of this goo down here is going to be Tyranid goo at the moment. They're going to have to start forging across it, because at the end of the day, we are in a valley. So yeah, this is going to slowly fill up should this fight drag out. And already you can see the makings here. We've got a couple of little puddles already appearing across our front line, which is magnificent. But again, it's this maneuver on the side that we've really got to worry about here, because the tower's surrounded already. The Tyranids breaking through the flank here, the crew desperately moving up to perform some sort of rearguard action, but the poor old Fire Warriors, well, they're stuck in the middle at the moment. And as we know, the Fire Warriors absolutely abysmal in melee combat. They much prefer keeping their enemies at range, preferably at the other end of the playing field, so they can just blast them from a range. You don't have to worry about armor when you can kill the enemy from afar, which is sort of a bit of a Tau philosophy. So yeah, when an army like the Tyranids manages to close the gap on their formations like this, things can turn brutal very quickly, and the Tyranids here very good at exploiting any single weakness in an army's flank. And look at that. As soon as they found that gap in the Tau's defense line, thousands of Hormagaunts have just been forced into the breach here. Meanwhile, the main evolutions for the Tyranid army is staying to the front line here, trying to help the main forces push forward, because these guys are bullet sponges. They've also got a really good amount of absorption or deflection, however you want to look at it, being the more heavily armored units here for the Tyranids. But you can already see the natural defenses of the Goo Lakes already playing out here in the Tau's favor. The Tyranids having to storm through their own dead brethren to try and close that gap. And again, Hammerhead tanks and the XV8 crisis suits here just laying down so much covering fire. I love this. As soon as the Tyranids here get into the top of this ridge, the tower just absolutely laying that smackdown on them. Any bullets that are missing that front line are subsequently hitting the troops in the rear here. So it's a case of a target-rich environment. No one can miss a single shot. Now, it looks like the flank on this side marginally slower. So it looks like on the far flank over this side, we've had some sort of different evolution of Hormagaunt. The Hormagaunts on this side, far superior in speed, able to easily push through that flank. And look, the Hammerhead tanks now getting absolutely overwhelmed here by quite literally, there's got to be 50 to 100,000 Tyranids now that have pushed around that flank and are attacking the tower rear lines. This is turning real deadly, real quick here for the Tau. But the Tau are already approaching 1 million kills. That's the absolutely insane part of this. 1 million kills already under their belt. You see the Brood Warriors here stabbing away at that front line. Each one of them stabs is just going to cleave a poor old Fire Warrior in half. Their armor not able to withstand the insane power and muscle mass behind the Tyranids. I mean, Space Marines struggle to deal with some of these sometimes, you know. It's not unheard of that a Space Marine's died to a claw of a Tyranid. It is definitely a commonplace occurrence. So yeah, Fire Warrior, it's not going to really stand much chance. Again, look at this. You can see that we've got these slower moving Hormagaunts on this side, which is meaning that the breakthrough not really happening on this side, but what they are doing, expending tower ammunition and also diverting firepower away up from the main line. So eventually these guys might be able to start to close that gap. Again, look, we've got these little trickles of crew coming out, trying to hold that defensive line. But the Tyranid army, it looks almost unending. Oh my god, that's a terrifying sight. The entire valley has now been filled with a Tyranid army. Let's just go scoot over him here, because, yeah, it is a truly terrifying sight to see this many Tyranids storming towards your positions. Look at that, the Hammerhead tank there then. I don't know if you caught that, but it caused a massive gap in the line, which was instantly filled in again. And this is just crumbling really rapidly here. Oh my gosh, the Tau in a world of hurt at the moment. Doesn't look like they brought enough firepower to this battlefield, ladies and gents. They are getting surrounded, pinned down, and ultimately wiped out one by one. This flanking maneuver by the Tyranids has been insane, though. Look at this, they've not been able to bring any heavy units into this flank. Surely just relying here on the speed and aggression of your basic Hormagaunt units, and it's been working so far. The Tau haven't had an answer for this. The XV8s here, even with their pulse cannon fire, haven't been able to keep up with the rate of bodies that are being thrown at them. And this is a dangerous maneuver here for the Tau, though it does look like this flank over this side ultimately has been weakened quite a lot now. The Tyranids not able to throw as many units into that as they were previously, meaning this firepower is now reconcentrating back down towards the center lines here, which is really bad for the Tyranids. But sneaky maneuvers just over the hill, unbeknownst to these guys, actually. I've just thought of that. Well, they know now. I was going to say they didn't know before, but they certainly do now. So yeah, this is that's going to be a horrific surprise when they actually notice how many Tyranids are coming over that way. Again, another hammerhead here, getting absolutely hammered, and it looks like the swarm's carrying it forward with it. The XV8 suit's also getting swarmed here by Hormagauns. He's spinning on the spot. It's a target-rich environment. He doesn't know who the hell he's meant to be shooting at. Again, Karut in amongst the mix here of the Fire Warriors, really helping to hold their own as the Hive Tyrant gets to the front, but he's taken out pretty brutally. But you can see that cleave damage they do there. Easily able to take out 10 or 20 troops with each swing. And that is the brutality here that is on show on the front line. Coming up to 1.3 million kills for the Tau. But is it going to be enough? We've got 12,000 defenders left. They are getting chewed up and spat out slowly but surely here. And yeah, the pincer maneuver by... Oh my god! This is just dissolving quicker than I can keep up with the battle. I mean, there was an entire Tau unit there just, and now it's completely vanished. Oh my god, we've got a body bobsleigh on the go. The Olympic Tyranid roly-poly team here, making their way down the hill. We've also got this body bobsleigh going on, which is absolutely magnificent. Again, trying to hold off as best as they can, trying to provide them vital seconds for the defense. There's only 700, I say there's only 700,000 Tyranids left on the field here, and the Tau certainly do have the firepower. It's just whether the battle will swing in their favor. So they have actually managed to secure this flank pretty decently. Over this side, though, it's looking a little bit deadly. We can still at least see that we've got at least one hammerhead, but that too now is also getting absolutely wrecked here. Tyranids are starting to clog up the vents. They're clogging up everything with their goo. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think the writing may already be on the wall here. This has been a really rapid battle. I was expecting the Tau to hold out a little bit longer than this, but that breakthrough on the flank there really helped out the Tyranid army. And they've just been able to swarm right on around the flank with that. And there's been no response here from the Tau. They've not been able to do anything. And again, the Karut, while still, adepts here at melee combat, when you're faced with this many Hormagauns, it's almost impossible to deal with. But I've got to say, I'm actually surprised at how well the Fire Warriors are holding out here. We're starting to get some real body roly-polies going on as well. I absolutely love that. There's something comical about seeing Tyranids roll around the floor. It's really nice. Again, these Brood Warriors have just been hammering home. Just cutting out that flank here bit by bit. And yeah, looks like the main Tyranid army now able to push up over the lip of that hill. Now that all that firepower has been diverted, the Tyranids once again are making a push for this flank, trying to get the ultimate surround here on the remaining Tau forces. 6,000 against 600,000? 100 to 1 ratio, you know, that's not that bad. Oh, look at this. Look at the goo rolling down the side of the hill. That's horrific. Oh, that's absolutely terrible here. I imagine most of that is actually Hormagaunt. It's not Tau goo. But yeah, this has been actually really fun for me. I've been enjoying this one. It's been so long. I can't even remember the last time I made a video with the Tyranids, and just because the AI kept breaking on me. But so far, it looks like we've been onto a bit of a winner with this one. So hopefully, whatever the problem was, it was been fixed now. And so, yeah, I'm definitely going to start using Tyranids more. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit sorry for the Town now. They're getting completely surrounded, and I mean, just look how quickly the Hormagauns here and the Brood Warriors are chewing their way through the Fire Warriors reserves, despite the intense firepower still coming out of these lines. It's not enough yet. And nom nom, the dinner bell is ringing here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think the writing is definitely on the wall. I think we can almost call this now. The Tyranids here, while taking extreme losses though, they have lost, 3/4 of their army trying to do this. The Tau losing 62,000. Unfortunately for the Tau though, the Tyranids are going to be able to consume all this, reclaim it, turn it into biomass, and produce ultimately more warriors from this fight. So realistically, the you know, the Tyranids didn't really actually lose anything, and this is a horrific, horrific defeat here for the Tau. And ladies and gentlemen, as the last 30 close on down here, the Tau decide, you know what, enough is enough. We've got to end this Tyranid threat here and now. And as always, you wonderful tune bastards of the internet, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, peace.